Well, good morning. It has been a minute since I've been on here to chat with you. We have been crazy busy at work, and there's not a whole bunch going on at the farm, but we also had COVID in the meantime in the holidays, so not that that's an excuse to not make videos, but we're back in the game. So happy new year to everyone. And I thought I would bring you out here. I'm gonna do my morning chores, feed my goats and my chickens, and then I'm gonna go out to the garden and I'm gonna pull some beets, and hopefully they're not frozen and we can make some pickled beets today. So, and we're just gonna make refrigerator pickled beets for salad. So anyways, here we go. All right, here's the goats. They're waiting to be fed. And they're not starving by any means, but apparently it's playtime. Oh no, never mind. They're gonna stop playing because they want to get fed. They were just running around like crazy. Come on, say hi, guys. Hi, Gladys. And Mabel. Lily Bear, you gonna come over here? You gonna come say hi, Lily Bear? Oh, Mabel's gonna say hi. Hi. Lily. Lily. You're so sweet. Oh, Mabel. Mabel's a movie star. Say hi, Mabel. They're hardly starving. They still have grain in their bowl. Hi, Lily. And still have hay in their feeder, so they are not starving at all. Oh, look over here. Jake. Jake. Say hi. Say hi, Jake. Oh, look at you, big boy. Look at you. Is that beautiful? Yeah. There's Stanley. All right, let's get some food. I know, you boys are starving and you need water. So I'll give them a scoop and a half of alfalfa pellets and then like just a little bit of the grain to go in it. So there's our alfalfa pellets. There's our molasses. I mix it up. And now we'll take it out to the goats. You guys ready? They have some, but they'll eat. They're spoiled rotten. Hi, Gladys. And these boys, they're pigs. Trying to feed and record at the same time is a little difficult. All right. So, and I will go get those boys a little bit more alfalfa. And now I got to get water too. So my goats have electric buckets, water buckets, so it doesn't freeze. In the past, I've always had calves over here in the winter, and I don't this year. So I've just been hauling out buckets of water out of the pump house because it's easier than taking the hose out, hooking it up just to fill a couple small water buckets and then the chicken water. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me to water, and I don't have to worry about the hose being frozen. So I feed the chickens a bucket of corn and crumbles twice a day. So all right, we're ready. Let's go visit the chickens. All right, here I come, ladies. Oh, waiting patiently. Oh, look at you, ladies. Come on, get in there. You know. Stop it. Oh, they always, oh, watch out. They always think they're starving. Here's what we're gonna do. We need to clean out there. Watch out! Watch out, lady! Goodness gracious! They have some squash in here that I brought them last night. You guys thirsty? You thirsty, Stanley? Let's get you some water. Huh? Go. Want a drink out of there? Is that better? Tastes better than anything else. Okay, here's our hay. So we're just gonna get a flake of it and take it over to the goats. I think we only need, it's pretty good hay. I bought this hay from my neighbor down the road and he delivered it here. We put it on pallets. We were getting big bales, but they were a little bit hard for me to manage on my own. So this last time I bought two tie, and they're a little bit easier for me to manage, cut open, and divide the flakes. The big bales, I think we got a lot of waste on the big bales. So I can kind of show you here. Let me see here. Here is kind of the leftovers of the big bales, and I will get out here and scoop this up and take it over to the compost pile probably early this spring, but it's quite a bit of waste. So, and they're just, the two tie is just way easier to maneuver. Okay, we're heading out to the garden. It has not been cleaned up yet this year. Everything is completely frozen, so hopefully our beets are still good, and we'll be able to pickle some beets today. So Look at all the cleanup that I have to do. Ugh. So here we go. We're gonna go right over here. Let's see what we can get here. Oh, they're a little squishy. That one was the ground. Okay, so the ones that were underneath the soil are still feel pretty good. But the ones these big ones that were kind of half out, they got froze and they're a little soft. So we're gonna give those to the chickens, and then we'll take in these little ones. Okay, well, I think the pickled beets are going to be a bust. They were a little too frozen, and so I gave them to the chickens. Oh well, what do you do? It's my fault for not getting them out of the garden sooner. So live and learn, live and learn. We're gonna head in the house here, and I thought I had a plan to make some scones today. Some cranberry orange scones, so I figured I'd take you along. Okay, we're back inside and it's a new day. I came in and got distracted and took down my Christmas stuff that was still up, and then I made chicken enchiladas for dinner. So I don't know where the rest of the day went, but it was gone. So I'm back in the kitchen this morning and I'm gonna make some scones real quick, get those in the oven, and then I gotta make some soup for dinner. So the recipe book that I'm using for the scone recipe is the Bread Bible. This is a really great book and everything's from scratch in here. So we're gonna be using that recipe today. So we're gonna be making cranberry orange scones. So the first thing we need, we're going to measure out our ingredients. Okay, here's our ingredients. We've got 1 cup of cold butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 4 1/4 cups of flour, 2 cups of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of orange zest, 1 cup of dried cranberries, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I used pink Himalayan salt. 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. First thing we're gonna cut up our butter into cubes. This butter needs to be cold. I have had this in the refrigerator. If your butter's not cold, either put it in the freezer or the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes before you use it. All right, our butter is ready. Okay, so in our mixing bowl, we are gonna whisk together all the dry ingredients. You can do this by hand as well. So we've got our flour, our sugar, our salt, our soda, and our baking powder. We're gonna quickly just give this a quick whisk. Mix it through. All right, and now we're gonna mix in our butter cubes, and then we want the dough to be chunky, almost like the size of a nut, a walnut, or a 1/4 inch circle. So we're gonna mix in our butter now. Okay, so our butter is clumpy. What we're gonna do next is our butter is clumped up. What we're gonna do next is add our heavy cream until it starts to form the consistency of dough, and then we're gonna add our cranberries and our orange zest. Okay, here we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, since the dough is starting to come together, I'm going to actually take this off and I'm going to change it to a dough hook. And then I will let it knead the dough the rest of the way till it comes together in a ball. I've only made scones just a handful of times, and I love them, but they're so expensive to buy in the store, even from the bakery. So, and they're not that hard. Okay, dough hooks on. So I'm going to turn my oven on to 400. We want to let the oven preheat for 30 minutes before we bake our scones. And then we're going to dump our scones out on the lightly floured counter and we're going to roll them out. Okay, we are going to roll out our dough. We're going to put a little bit of flour on the counter. We're going to roll this out between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to roll it, try to get like an 8 by 12 square. So that way we don't waste a lot of our dough. All right, here's our dough. Looks good. It smells delicious. That looks pretty good. It's not a perfect square, but my family doesn't care if they're in perfect triangles, so it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to take I'm going to divide this into thirds. I don't know if this is exactly right, but this is the way I've taught myself, so it's what I do. All right, so these, we're just gonna go like this. That one be a little bit bigger. These back. All right, we're going to put these on some parchment paper. I've got my baking stone in the oven, and then we're going to we'll transfer them to the oven as soon as our 30 minutes is up. Okay, so I just brought out a cookie sheet. I'm going to put the parchment paper on, and then we can move the scones to the parchment paper, and then we'll transfer them to the baking stone in the oven when it's preheated. Okay, here's our parchment paper. We're going to take these and move them to our parchment paper. We want to make sure they all fit in one batch. So we're gonna this is a little harder to do with one hand. All right, we've got our scones on our pan. We're just waiting for our oven. And then I'm gonna clean up my mess, stick them in the refrigerator until I'm ready to bake. I have about 13 more minutes before my oven is ready. Okay, I've got our scones out of the fridge. Our oven is preheated. Our baking stone's in the oven. Now we're just going to work on transferring the scones one-handed. Let's see. That's not gonna work. Hold on. Okay. Redo with 2 hands. All right, our scones are on our baking sheet. Let's see if we need to make some tweaks. Did mess up just a little bit right there. Nothing crazy. So these scones can be close together. They will rise up, but they won't get wider. All right, we're gonna cook these for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna start a timer for 15, and then we'll check them and maybe go an additional couple minutes after that. Okay, so while we're waiting for the scones to cook, we're going to make a orange glaze to go on the top. For our orange glaze, we got our oranges that we used to get the orange zest off of. So we got both of those. We're gonna get a little more zest off of them, but then we're gonna juice them. We've got powdered sugar, and we're just gonna mix those together in a bowl. Make as much or as little as you want. I'm gonna make about 3/4 of a cup. I'm gonna use about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. I'm gonna juice the oranges and put a little bit of zest in here, and we're just gonna mix it together. So here we go. Okay, let me grab a cutting board and a knife. I realized my small cutting board was in the dishwasher, so that's out. So we're just gonna use a plate. All right, so what we're gonna do, because oranges, this is just like the size for a lemon and a lime. I don't have a big juicer. We're just gonna cut these up in quarters, and then that way they'll fit in the juicer. Okay, before we do the other orange, I'm just gonna mix this up and see where we are with the glaze. It might actually be plenty. That was a pretty juicy orange. So I'm gonna say we need just a hair bit more powdered sugar. I wanna make it kind of not runny, but also not So you can drizzle it on the scones. Break up all those little balls of powdered sugar in there. Oh yeah, that's good. I think that looks good. I don't think we're gonna need that other orange. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit until our scones are ready. All right, our timer's up for 15 minutes. Let's look. Somebody should grease my oven door. They need a few more minutes. So see how they have risen quite a bit, almost probably double in size, high. I'm gonna give them at least 5 more minutes. So we're gonna put the timer on for another 5. And come back and check them in 5 minutes. Okay, I have cooked these additional 9 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them out. They're not really brown, but they are firm to the touch and they bounce back up, so I'm gonna say that they're done. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this baking stone out from underneath these scones. And this is sitting on a cooling rack. Well, I guess the key is not to pull the cooling rack out with the baking stone. That doesn't work very well. Really work like I had planned. These smell so good. I don't think my cooling rack's going to be big enough. Ooh, we don't have room for this one. There we got room. Okay, I'm going to let these cool for just a hot second before we put our orange glaze on the top. Okay, so these been cooling a minute. I'm gonna put a quick glaze on them and then I'm gonna let them cool some more and I might put one more layer. If you guys have ever had scones, scones in themselves are actually not that sweet. As you've seen in our recipe, we put only a half a cup of sugar in this whole batch. So, but usually the glaze is pretty sweet, so it's perfect for coffee. So we're just gonna go ahead and I'm using a ladle. We're just going to put this right over the top. There is our delicious cranberry orange scones. So good. All right, here's our delicious orange cranberry scone. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside. It is, oh, let's see, it is light, it is buttery, it is just the perfect amount of sweetness. If you have not made a scone, I encourage you to try. Don't get hung up on the fact that it's some fancy pastry. And don't get hung up on the fact that it has to be a perfect triangle. I know you can make it much more complicated, but these are really easy to do. Anyways, I really appreciate you hanging out with me this weekend, and I hope you have a fabulous week. Stay warm, everybody.